Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the CI Sports Zone. I am Christopher Huselig. Joining with me, as always, my co-host Thomas Garverick and our very special guest who we really love to have him on.
That's
Jonathan
right.
Michael, not didn't mess up your name this time, man. I'm on it today.
I love it. And I just want to say, Christopher's looking extra fresh.
Yeah, you like the
on Monday afternoon. He's got
like
the fresh fade.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a big fade guy, so I think Christopher looks great.
It was getting a little too shaggy for me, and I noticed last week. I was like, ooh. But yeah, no. So, all right, fellas. Well, Jonathan's on a time crunch apparently. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, man.
JM is a very busy guy with
Girls
golf.
sectionals, so I'm popping in here, going right back out to the golf.
So
course.
that is why we are here a little bit early today. Always glad to have Jonathan though. So moving it is no big deal to us. But once again, I will say this every week. Another great week of football, friends.
It's going by too fast, man. I cannot believe.
It really is. Jonathan sent us a text yesterday talking about playoff chances of people, and I'm like,
We're
hold
talking
up.
about
I'm like,
playoffs?
hold up.
Talking playoffs?
We're talking about playoffs.
Well, we are talking about playoffs this episode.
But anyway, so let's kind of get rolling here a little bit with our first game we wanted to talk about with these Farmington Farmers who, Jonathan, we have been kind of talking about them quite a bit. Very impressed with the Farmers so far up to this point, and a big win against Macomb. So kind of what can you give us about this one?
Yeah, again, obviously this one was out in Macomb. Probably not many people other than Farmington fans were actually at this game, but this was definitely, I think, the toughest regular season game for the Farmers this season. I mean, they knew that, when the schedules came out, months ago. I mean, they knew Macomb was probably going to be the number one game for them. And they were down 16-15, I think, with under about 5 minutes to play. And Macomb had just scored. First play of the drive, Jack Grunwald gets an 86-yard touchdown to put Farmington up. And then Landon Crawford got a pick six, which I believe we'll see here later on. And that sealed the win. So that was a gutsy win for Farmington. Again, definitely the hardest game on their regular season slate. So now that they're kind of over that hump, they got some, definitely some winnable games the rest of the year out. I think the Farmers should be 9-0. But it was good to see Farmington get a kind of prove-it win because they've beaten some good teams. They haven't really beat any really good teams, and Macomb is one of them. So that was a good win for Toby Vallis and company.
This was an underrated game on the slate, right? Both teams 5-0, both small schools. But, yeah, I think the Farmers showed a lot of guts, and they made two really big plays at the end of that game. It was Jack Grunwald on that screen pass that you talked about, took it to the house, and then they had the pick six by, I think, Landon Crawford. Yeah, Landon Crawford. So very good win for the Farmers. And I'm just impressed with them because, again, they've been running out a freshman quarterback in Carson Noy all year.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Farmington, a team that was just so loaded last year with seniors, and they've been able to have Carson Noy just step in there and they just keep the train going. I'm just really impressed with Farmington.
I have one question, Jonathan. Did you think at the beginning of the season you were going to say Farmington was 9-0?
That's a great question.
Or Farmington could go 9-0, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, Farmington could. I mean, if we're talking could, then yes. I mean, the answer is always yes with Farmington pretty much. Would they go 9-0? I probably wouldn't have expected it. Again, coming into the season, obviously we don't really know everything yet. I was looking. I was like, okay, maybe that Eureka game week 3 might be, pretty close. It might get tripped up there. You never know what, Illini West or Knoxville are going to bring. I knew that Farmington was, I think, going to comfortably be at least 7-2,
okay,
if not 8-1. But yeah, 9-0 is a real testament to this team, and I think they're definitely trending towards a good season in the playoffs.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I heard you say 9-0, and I was like, hold up, I gotta know what Jonathan's thought on that were. So anyway, kind of transitioning here to the next game we wanted to check out was these Bloomington Central Catholic, the Saints.
Heck of an opening shot there by Alex Berger getting the fireworks, baby. That was awesome.
Well, BCC put up the fireworks again. I mean, Felsha and Powell, 4 touchdowns for BCC again. This game was one of many.
I mean, just look at him here. He is just jogging, making this look easy.
Yeah, that's been BCC. Kind of some of the season. Yeah, this was one of the many games that wasn't really close. There were, I think, 9 or 10 games in our area that were decided by running clock last week. So again, this one was a 61-21 Saints win. But I just wanted to talk about the Saints and again where they're at in the season. They're also 6-0. Big win against St. Joseph Ogden at home this week. But again, BCC has been looking pretty strong. And again, this is just a team that I think is really equipped for a deep postseason run. Their offense has been putting up huge numbers. Their defense has been pretty stout. They got lots of talent. Velshin Powell, Matthew Brady, a lot of other guys. It's really hard to defend. So I just want to kind of put the spotlight on the Saints after a big 40-point running clock win.
I was going to say St. T is a team in the Decatur area who I'm familiar with because I first worked in that market. And so very good storied program. So for BCC to take care of business like that and put up 61 points on St. T, very impressive for them.
Sorry, I had to watch those fireworks one more time. That was.
When I saw that, when Alex sent that, and I was like, oh, that was creative. I enjoy when our shooters can get really artsy shots like that. So
yeah,
Alex has a good eye for that stuff.
And I love fireworks. They're always awesome. And a high school football game with fireworks makes it even better. Like, let's go.
There were fireworks in Washington, the game we did last Friday. Obviously, plenty of fireworks on the field, too, in that one. 56-zip Panthers win. So we got even more after the game, too.
Yeah, and then kind of heading over to the Twin Cities now with Normal Community.
Yep. This game was probably game of the year.
Yeah, this was. I did catch a lot of this game. What a fun game to watch. And
I'm surprised you're saying that, Christopher. I thought you would have looked at the 98 points and gone, this game was not my kind of game.
Christopher doesn't even think that's football.
Hey, just because I like defensive game, I did play offense, okay? I can appreciate a high-scoring game, okay? I can get behind it, especially when you return a kick like that. That was awesome.
Exactly. Kurt was at this game, and so both these kickoff return touchdowns happened back-to-back.
Wow.
I mean, he said
Unreal.
he was at the game and got 8 different scoring touchdowns, which is just incredible. But the razzle-dazzle that Normal Community has had all year this year has been awesome. They're up for Play of the Week once again. I think this is actually the play right here. Yeah, a little like hook and ladder to the lineman who scores.
Brady Wolf.
Just awesome stuff. I love the play design, love the creativity on offense. This Normal Community team, I haven't gotten to see them up close, but they've been really fun to watch this year.
Yeah. They've been money with the trick plays this season. I mean, every week it seems like they have something new in their pocket. They went deep into it against a Bloomington team that they knew they might need to pull out some trick plays to win that game. But also too, what a comeback effort though from Bloomington again.
Oh yeah,
14-point final score deficit, but they were down 35-14.
Oh wow.
In the second quarter. So again, it's a Bloomington team that they're also down 3 scores in the third quarter as well. Got it back to within a touchdown going into the fourth. Just kind of looking at Steve Cease did a great job covering that game. I was looking at his tweets all night. But just a phenomenal game. Cole Kretzinger, 5 touchdowns for Normal Community. Get it done on all sides.
He
of the
has
ball.
been a baller this year, man. He is in the highlights every single week for the Ironman.
Yeah, he really has. And also Cooper Childers, too, for Bloomington. I think he was one that had the kick return for a touchdown. So, again, he's a guy that has scored on offense, scored on defense. He's been really big for them. A lot of just great players from both those teams. Kevion Chestnut over 100 yards and a touchdown. Carter Tyndall, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns for Bloomington. Luke Potts and Lucas Beatty both having good games for the Ironmen. So, yeah, it's a big win for a community to get to 5-1. Bloomington's obviously their first loss of the season. They got a tough one next few weeks against P&D this week, then Peoria High. So then Normal Community's got Peoria High in week 9. So that win by Normal Community, I think, really opens the door, for I think multiple teams to win the Big 12 title. I think it's going to come down to that final week or two.
It's whoever can score the most points in the Big 12.
Yep.
I mean that conference is just loaded with teams. So you said Bloomington High plays Peoria High this week?
Bloomington plays P&D this week.
Bloomington plays P&D this week.
Yeah, but then both teams still have to face Peoria High.
Wow.
So that week 8 game, Bloomington, Peoria High, week 9, Normal Community, Peoria High. Those two
might
I
be
think
first
are gonna
team to
decide,
60.
Yeah, they will.
That game.
Yeah, those two are probably gonna decide the conference title.
I have one more thing before we move on real quick. I want to pull this back up. I love these uniforms. Sorry, I was watching
It's a great uniform matchup.
I was thinking about it when I first pulled it up, and I was like, oh my goodness, I love this. So I want to bring it up before we move on to our
Washington wore similar uniforms too, all orange with just black numbers. So.
Well, I'm glad you did bring up Washington there because we got a very, very interesting football game coming up ahead of us.
As
this Friday.
JM would say, this one's going to be a doozy.
This one's going to be a barn
slobber
burner.
knocker.
A slobber knocker. I mean, we can come up adjectives all day. We got
Old school Big Ten is what this game and
got
matchup feels
Dunlap,
like between Dunlap
Washington,
and Washington.
and we've talked about both these teams a ton so far this season. They've been electric, both of them. So, Jonathan, what are you looking at in this one?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, both defenses have been great this season. I mean, you look at the last 4 weeks, Washington's given up a combined 23 points as an average of just 1 touchdown per game. So their defense has been amazing. Dunlap, they've pitched 3 shutouts this year, allowed just 3 points to Rock Island. They gave up 21 to Canton last week, but again, I wasn't at that game. I would assume that was probably when most of the starters had probably left for the Eagles. So again, this is going to be, I think, a pretty defensively focused game. If you want to look at it in the sense of who's been more tested so far, I think Washington, again, has been tested more against some better teams. Niles Notre Dame, Troy Triad, Metamora. Both teams have played Pekin. Look at, Dunlap again. This is, other than Pekin, this is probably their first, real big game of the season coming in week 7. So that could be a blessing. It could be a curse. We'll see how it plays out. One thing I have my eye on, though, is, again, obviously, anytime we talk about Dunlap, talk about Max Sutter,
Yep.
Obviously, next level pass catching threat, just such a hard guy to defend given his frame. But I will say, though, Washington in their secondary, they have A.J. Jones, who's a very good cornerback. People look at him a lot as a wide receiver. He's also a very good cornerback, and you want to go match up with his size. Maybe this guy isn't as fast as Max Sutter, but he's got the body to defend him in the red zone. It's James Johnson, 6'4", 220, 230 or so in that secondary for Washington. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, again, how is Washington going to, who are they going to put on Max Sutter? How are they going to do? Who's going to win that battle? Again, I think we will see both teams run the football a lot, too. These are 2 teams that have some great running backs and are very deep at running back, too. So we could see a lot of 8, 9, 10 different guys in total getting carries on Friday night. So, again, it's going to be an awesome game. 5-1 Washington, 6-0 Dunlap. Probably going to decide the Mid-Atlantic night.
It's going to be your classic boxing match, right? They're going to feel each other out the first half. Like you said, Jonathan, they're going to run the football, try to control the line of scrimmage, and I expect fireworks in the second half, teams getting aggressive in the second half. But really excited. I think the advantage in this game with Dunlap being at home definitely helps them. I think it's important that this game is in Dunlap for the Eagles. Washington has proven that they can go on the road and win it anywhere, and so can Dunlap. But I think just having this game on home turf for the Eagles is definitely a plus for them. But I cannot wait to see how that game unfolds.
Hey, man, I'll never be mad at a game where they just run the rock. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's ground and pound this bad boy. Let's let the big guys up front put in some work.
Let the big dogs eat.
Let's
That's
see.
right.
Let's see. It's fun football. Let's see which 5 offense or defensive
I'm telling you,
line
old
are
school
gonna
Big
win.
Ten game Friday night.
Let's just pound it down the middle all game. Let's see what happens. It's fun. It's fun football. Fun to watch.
And what makes it fun, too, is that, again, we've seen it a lot with Washington. We can see it with Dunlap, too. Both quarterbacks have some big arms, too. Is, again, run, lull the defense to sleep, and then, boom, over-the-top play. Could be
Set up
60-yard
that play-action
touchdowns.
pass.
So, yeah, I mean, I think we could see that really from both teams a lot on Friday, too.
Really excited for that. All right, Jonathan, we are 6 weeks in
Yeah.
to the high school football season. Some teams have already clinched their status, right? Because you need 5 wins to be eligible. 6 for sure get you in. Who are some teams who are maybe on the doorstep of getting in? Who are some teams who really need to finish strong to get in to the playoffs?
Yeah, well, we'll start with 4-2 Morton. Big win for them last week against Limestone. They needed that to get to number 4. They got East Peoria this week. Then they're at Dunlap, home against Washington.
Ooh.
Again, I've been impressed with this Morton team and how well they've been able to perform despite the loss of their quarterback Isaac Davis for the season. And Brody Fritz has stepped in and done a nice job. So again, Dunlap has been looking good. Washington's been looking good. Can Morton beat one of those teams? I think they can, but I will say I think they really need to beat East Peoria this week to be really sure. Because again, beating Dunlap in Washington is not going to be easy, especially when you're a bit short-handed. So again,
How many more home games do they have left? Do you know?
They host East Peoria this week and then they host Washington in week 9.
Okay.
But again, I do think Morton will get in. It may not be a high seed. They're probably going to be on the road for the playoffs, but I do think Morton will get in at 4-2. Also in the middle line, Pekin, they're 2-4 right now. Their backs are against the wall.
It's been a tough season for them.
But here's the thing. This is their remaining schedule. They host Canton. They're at Limestone. They host East Peoria. I expect the Dragons to be able to take care of business the next 2 weeks. And I think, again, depending on how the schedule plays out, it could be 4-4 Pekin versus potentially 4-4 East Peoria,
would be
with the
awesome.
winner going to the playoffs. So again, we're still a bit too far out. I think I kind of want to see both this health-wise of both those teams. I know obviously Dylan Anderson's out for Pekin, but see who's all available. That Week 9 game. But again, if I had to lean right now, my gut instinct says Pekin makes it.
There's
Again,
definitely an opportunity and a path for them to finish strong and win out the remainder of the way.
Yeah, there is too. Well, and there's still a path too for East Peoria to make it. There's a path to have. There is a path that potentially at most have 6 Mid-Illini teams in the playoffs.
That's
now, is that
crazy.
likely? I don't think so, but it could happen. So that's definitely something I have my eye on for sure. Look at some 3-3 teams. DMAC, huge game this week against Warrensburg Latham because they are at Ridgeview Lexington next
Who's
week.
undefeated?
Yeah, that's a Mustangs team that has really gotten back to their winning ways where they were a few years ago. So again, they host Warrensburg Latham. I think they need to win that game for sure. I'm not gonna, Ridgeview Lexington. You can't say that's a guarantee to win it all. Maybe you can sneak one out on the road. But I think it's gonna, even then, I think it's gonna come down to their Week 9 game, which I don't know anything about this team. They're from Missouri. DMAC has an out-of-state opponent in Week 9.
Really?
Called Benton Kelly out of Missouri that they're playing down at Mascoutah, down here in the St. Louis area. They're meeting halfway with them in Week 9. So I don't really know about DMAC. Again, I will say, though, if I had to pick, I will think DMAC makes the playoffs because they've been in this situation before. They've been 3-3 after 6 weeks and, kind of snuck their way, weaseled their way in somehow. They always seem to do it. So, and I think DMAC will get it done this week. And then they had a good game against GCMS last week, even though they lost. It was 20-14. It was a close game.
Yep.
So that's another team, obviously, that's kind of teetered on the edge. Elmwood Brimfield, they're also on the edge. They're at 3-3 right now. They host Ottawa Marquette. They're at Macomb. They host Illini West. So again, that Macomb game is going to be tough.
That's going to be a really tough
That's going to be
one.
tough. So EB, I think, needs to beat Ottawa Marquette. They need to beat Illini West. Neither one of those teams I know a ton about. I know they're both okay. I don't think either of those teams are great. I think they're winnable games for EB. They're at home. So I will say I do think EB makes it in at 5-4. But it's going to be close. It's going to be close for them. Trojans are trying to kind of rebound after a tough loss to West Hancock. So.
I love the final 3 weeks of the regular season because I love getting to open up our 5:30 sports show with, hey, here are the teams that are in, here are the teams that are fighting for their postseason lives. And I feel like the intensity ramps up because these kids, these athletes, they feel it more. They're like, I want to play postseason ball. So I can't wait to see how these final 3 weeks of the regular season unfold.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be really fun. And, too, also, especially, too, even the teams that have already clinched, they're still playing for something, too. They're playing for seeding. They're playing for, home field advantage in round one of the playoffs. So, and again, I mean, obviously, teams are looking to obviously get 6 to be playoff eligible. 98 to 99% of the teams that get 5 wins are going to make the playoffs. So, again, pretty much, unless the team has played an incredibly weak schedule, if you get 5 wins, you're probably going to make it in. But obviously, too, you do want to obviously try to improve that seed. 7 wins, usually, depending on what class you're in, enough to host in the first round. For those smaller classes, though, Class 2A and 3A, you might need to be 8-1 to host in the playoffs, just because those teams, those powerhouses don't really lose quite as often in those smaller classes.
And those home games, I mean, obviously being at home is always great, but especially in round 1 of the postseason where the postseason jitters might be there, it's really important to have that home field advantage.
It's also not too cold, so maybe more of the home fans will come out. It's a little bit different playing late October than maybe mid to late November when it's maybe 30 degrees outside.
I'll tell you what, when I was at ISU's semifinal game for U High and Mount Zion, outstanding football game, oh my gosh, I could not feel my toes or my hands and fingers after the game because it was so cold. It was so fun. Weekend of Thanksgiving, it was great, but I was like, holy smokes, man, it was cold. So definitely helps to have the home crowd be like, I'll drive 5 minutes to be cold. I don't know if I want to drive an hour and 5 minutes for a game, but it'll be good stuff for sure.
For sure.
Well, Jonathan, we know you got to get to that golf thing. So before we get out of here real quick, we do have an update on Jonathan's favorite segment, the high school mascot bracket. We are in the final four. We are in the final 4.
Peoria, Illinois,
We've got
the host of the Final 4.
Only.
This week,
That's right.
This week's matchup is between Farmington and Elmwood Brimfield and IVC and Princeville.
The small schools showing up big time.
Some fun little facts real quick. 11,000 total votes have come in across all 4
That's
weeks
incredible.
of voting.
That's awesome.
That was as of 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Wow.
And 2,200 different, just under 2,200 different people have voted.
That's incredible.
So obviously we appreciate that. Keep
We love
bringing
when
it in.
people vote.
Last week,
the
IVC
numbers.
had 745 votes. It'd be great to see some more teams get that again this week. I'm not gonna tell the voting totals right now because we've been doing this for 8 hours, but
Sure.
IVC has quite a bit. Princeville has quite a bit. There's the voting turnout so far have been pretty good. So all I'm gonna say now is let's go and keep voting and
Shout out north of Peoria, man.
yeah.
Chillicothe and Princeville.
Yeah, we
showing
love
it.
out.
we really
Love it.
appreciate those two. All the schools left. They've been doing great jobs. So
It'll be a fun finish.
Yeah,
Can't wait to see who wins
Very
it.
interesting.
Who are the other two besides Princeville and IVC still in it?
It's Farmington and Elmwood Brimfield.
Hey, there you go. North and
so
west of Peoria, both showing up.
Yep. So
All great small
The
schools.
small
Yes.
schools are doing great, and we love to see it. So make sure you go out, vote for your favorite mascot, vote against a rival. I don't really care, but just go out and make sure you vote, and let's see how this Final Four turns out. It'll be very interesting. So, well, Jonathan, it's been a blast, and thank you so much for joining us. Even though
Of
you
course.
got a busy day ahead
course.
of you, we're gonna take a short break, and we will be right back. Hello and welcome back to the CI Sports Zone. I am your co-host Christopher Husling. Joining with me today are the two legends of sports talk at the WMBD newsroom.
Whoa, you're too kind, Christopher.
The two
Right back
who
at
get
you.
in it, get at it the most.
true.
With their
We do.
takes.
It's all in fun. You know what,
is all
guys?
in
I'm
fun.
just going to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
I said that Arch Manning was going to be fine. Arch Manning stinks. Texas stinks. And you know what? I said Penn State was overrated because Drew Aller and James Franklin can't win. They stink too.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to sugarcoat it this week with these teams. It's crazy the fact that you had Ohio State, Clemson, Penn State, and Texas in the preseason top 4, and now 3 of them are unranked. Unranked. You had all these hopes. Texas,
can't
Arch
believe it.
Manning. Oh, Steve Sarkisian, great coach. Texas has such a good defense. They stink. Penn State, they went out and got a bunch of receivers in the portal. They brought back their running backs. And Drew Aller, they're going to be great. They stink. Clemson, everyone's saying, oh, they're going to be just like Ohio State. They've got all these veterans. They stink too.
Yeah.
These teams
Everybody
stink.
stinks.
I mean,
Everybody is
I can't
terrible.
believe James Franklin, it's Monday afternoon and James Franklin still has a job. He lost to UCLA.
Yeah.
That team stinks.
I'm pretty sure they were 0-4. Like
Oh.
UCLA, not a good football team. That was a rough loss. It's
horrible.
I was watching some other game, and someone texted in our group chat that was like talking about Penn State, and I was like, oh, what? It can't be that bad. And I jump over and I was like, ooh.
UCLA lost by 25 to New Mexico at home. They lost on the road to UNLV
Yeah.
by 7. This is not a good team. They rushed the field after the game. Nobody was even at the game
Yeah.
because no one thought they had a chance.
There was 20 fans that ran down onto the field. It was one of those. It was one of those in the third quarter. People bought tickets because they saw UCLA was winning.
and
they're like,
100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
That was-
that's the big story this week.
That
is
was-
Yeah.
the hopes for Texas
well,
and Penn State.
Yeah.
Clemson's been dead.
Miami over
They've been
Florida
dead.
State as well.
Well, yeah. And Thomas,
That was a really
Thomas,
disappointing showing
I
for Florida
cannot,
State,
I
man.
cannot follow up that tangent you just went on. I really
That was a
appreciate it.
tangent.
It was awesome. They do stink. Let's
They
say,
all stink. Let's call it what it is.
let's call the cow spotted. Okay.
Yep.
They
Boom.
stink. But
Yeah.
someone who I thought stinks, that turns out they don't. The University of Illinois. Okay.
Wow.
They came off that one loss, then they came back, beat USC in a good football game, and then went
Even
to,
though they
and then
literally
went to,
tried to just hand it away.
yeah, then went
They
to
tried to hand it away.
Then went to Purdue, who also stinks. No.
They're not great.
they-
I mean,
We're gonna upset a lot of people
Yeah,
with
probably.
this podcast.
sorry
Probably.
That's
Purdue
okay.
fans.
That's all
sorry
right.
USC
That's all right.
fans.
Hey, if you hate this podcast right now, share it with your friends so then they can see how bad it is.
That's right.
Well, and the thing about my take of Illinois is I think that while they have won obviously against Purdue and obviously, going against Lincoln Riley and the USC Trojans, getting a win there. I still don't think they're sustainable deep into, December and January, because this is just they're not there. They're not there. They are.
Who's not there? Illinois?
Yeah. I don't think they're there.
Here's the thing.
Okay, let's define.
I think this
what
weekend
is there. What does
There
that
is
mean?
the playoff. There is the playoff.
Oh.
That is their hopes this year. They want to get past just the bowl game. They want to get to playoff.
Okay.
I feel like we're going to see what they're made of this weekend with Ohio State, because the last time they played a really good team in Indiana, they got waxed.
Well, and they were ranked like
but,
6th.
But granted, Indiana's a really good football team this season. I've been watching them, fun to watch. Illinois is a good football team. Nobody can say they're not.
Right.
They've beaten some high caliber teams. I don't think they'll win against Ohio State, but I think this is a weekend for them to show, like, we can keep it close with the Buckeyes at least.
Yeah.
Now, can they win? Anybody can win any Saturday. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Any given Saturday.
Anybody.
why we play the game.
Anybody can win. And I think if Illinois puts it together, they can put up a good showing against Ohio State. Obviously, they need to come out in the first half. They've been kind of struggling early in the game. Struggling, I say. They're generally still doing pretty decent.
Right.
But then they generally pick it up in the second half. And Thomas said this before the podcast. You have to play a perfect game against Ohio State.
Yeah.
And that involves all 4 quarters. From the beginning, from quarter 1, you have to be able to score and put up points and stop their offense.
They're ranked number 1 for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. I've told every person I've ever interacted with in the state of Illinois. I've lived in Illinois for 6 years now. I'm born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. People know that I'm an Ohio State fan, and I've gone on record.
You like Ohio State?
I do like Ohio State. But Ohio State fans are the worst people outside of Bama fans. Bama fans are pretty brutal people.
Yeah.
And then there's Michigan fans. Michigan fans are bad too.
Well, it's just
That's
because
the
they
good
live
thing.
in
We all
Michigan.
bond over, we just can't stand Michigan. But I will say, like, this is going to be this Ohio State team right now is a tough team for anybody to play. They're number 1 in the country, but the fact that Ohio State, through 5 games in 6 weeks of the college football season, Ohio State has not allowed a red zone defensive touchdown.
No.
Think about that. That's insane. It's one
very
thing
insane.
you're telling me that every time that a team has gotten into the red zone that they are not scoring. They're either kicking a field goal or they are turning the ball over on downs.
That's just
It's
a
insane.
compliment to their
best,
defense.
The best team money can buy right there, that Ohio State.
Well, I mean, yeah, the pockets are deep, but I do think it's incredible that
No, yeah, of course.
last year their defense was incredible.
Yep.
Right? They had a great defensive coordinator. They had a great defensive team. They lost a lot on that defense too. But the fact that Matt Patricia has been able to come in after Jim Knowles stepped away, which is funny because Jim Knowles is the defensive coordinator for Penn State, and
Alex
gave
has,
up 42
Alex has
to
PTSD from
UCLA.
Matt Patricia's name. Let's
But the fact that Matt Patricia has been able to come in, former defensive coordinator for the Patriots, obviously under the Bill Belichick era in New England,
Coach of the Lions.
right? Yeah,
how I know him.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to bring that part up, but I mean, just the fact that he's been able to come in. And obviously, he wasn't stepping into a defense where he had to overhaul stuff, right? They have Caleb Downs. They have so many good pieces on that defense.
Jeremiah Smith.
But the fact that Jeremiah Smith doesn't play defense.
He could play defense. Hey, this is 2025.
but he
Jeremiah
doesn't.
Smith could be a corner, dude.
Jeremiah Smith, he just needs to focus on being the best receiver in college football.
Easily.
Anyways, the fact that this Ohio State team has gotten better defensively, really impressed with what Julian Sain has been able to do. I felt like that they really let him kind of off the leash
Yeah.
against Minnesota.
Yeah, they did.
They just let him throw the ball around. Carnell Tate looked really good. This is a fun Ohio State team to watch. They're all really likable guys. Sain has worked really hard to get to where he is. Love Jeremiah Smith, love Tate, love that running back room. This is just an Ohio State team. I loved last year's group because of Will Howard. I think Will Howard is just a one-of-one kind of guy. But I love watching this Ohio State team, and I hope Illinois keeps it close. And because here's my argument. I know that, Alex, you're saying that they're not there, and I would say that they're definitely on the outside looking in at the playoff.
Yeah, and I can't argue with that.
But hypothetically, what if Illinois loses to Ohio State but keeps it close, and then they play Washington at Washington? That'll be a tough one. But let's just say Illinois runs the table, beats Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, at Wisconsin, Northwestern. And
have a different
Illinois only
conversation
has
then.
2 losses.
Yeah, then it's a different conversation. I mean, Ohio State
But
is
it's on the table.
juggernaut. It is. It absolutely is.
They are on the cusp. I think if Illinois is able to somehow finish the year with only 2 losses, I
Right.
think the Illini have a chance.
They and
have a chance.
I absolutely do think they have a chance. I don't think that they are operating at the same level as an Ohio State, as even a Penn State, truthfully, at this point.
I don't know if anybody's operating like Ohio State right now.
No, and not to hype up.
Remember,
your
you
team
just got to
too
be in the
much.
top 12.
You do, and I'm not so sure that Illinois will necessarily fall out of the top 12 because of their opponents, because who they play. But I am absolutely on that side, Thomas, of if the Illini keep it close, and I'm talking like real close, if they can run that defense, the best defense in college football, along with the best offense in college football, if they can run them to score maybe 35 on them or more, even over 20 something, and they keep it close, we have a totally different conversation next week and saying that are the Illini truthfully for real, is this the best Illinois team we've seen in a while? And that's just how it is, because this is the prove it game. This is the prove it game for them.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting.
And another team that they lost, but I still really enjoy is Vanderbilt. We've talked about them quite a bit. They went in, they were playing Bama down. It was 20-14 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They end up losing 30-14. Bama puts up 10 in the fourth. Pavia had two picks, and then there was a controversial fumble in the game where I think Vanderbilt was down, but
Yeah. Unfortunately,
so-
Vandy just made too many mistakes in
and
that
that's,
game.
and that's what I'm saying. Like
to win.
that's another football team that I really like. I really enjoy watching because nobody was really talking about them preseason. And Pavia and the Commodores really been rolling this season. It's really fun to watch them play. And that was a good football game they played for the most part against Bama. Just some costly mistakes.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those. Even if Bama's not the craziest team, they're still a team you have to play.
They are.
A pretty perfect game against.
I will say, I think it's been interesting because obviously the Heisman is so wide open this year in terms of who could win.
Who's your front runner?
Oh, man, that's tough. You know what? Here's the thing I'm going to say, and I've been talking about this. I've been really impressed with what I've seen from Ty Simpson out of Alabama the last couple of weeks. He's played really well, and there's definitely an argument to be made for him that if, let's say Bama goes on and somehow wins the SEC. And I shouldn't say somehow, but let's say they do win the SEC. Ty Simpson has been really good. 13 touchdowns, 1 interception, was lights out against Georgia, played really well against Vandy after the slow start. I really like Ty Simpson, but again, I was talking about Dante Moore for Oregon earlier. I really like Dante Moore. What he did against Penn State, that was kind of their signature win. I think the Heisman is truly going to be decided during conference championship week because we all think that Alabama might be playing, I don't know, maybe Ole Miss in the SEC championship game. Let's say Alabama beats Ole Miss or somebody else. Then maybe Ty Simpson's the front runner.
Yeah.
Or maybe Dante Moore and Oregon play Ohio State. What if Dante Moore and Oregon beat Ohio State? Then I would argue that
Absolutely.
Dante Moore should probably win the Heisman, right?
That's
or
exactly.
if Ohio State beats Oregon, Jeremiah Smith has a big game. Jeremiah Smith might win the Heisman as a receiver, right? It'll be really interesting to see. I mean, obviously, John Mateer missing some time is probably going to cost him, right? It's going to be hard for him to accumulate the stats that you kind of need to have for the Heisman stat. But obviously, if Oklahoma wins the SEC, you'll make the argument for Mateer.
And that's kind of the next game I was going to pivot to is I think after watching Oklahoma versus Kent State put up 44 points with a backup quarterback, they have Texas this week. And John Mateer, I tried to do some research on it before we came in. His timeline for recovery is still kind of iffy. It says a month, which would be next week.
I can't believe that Texas is favored right now.
Yeah, well,
are you kidding me?
It's because Mateer's not playing.
I understand that, but again, Oklahoma's backup quarterback, Hawkins, you have to remember he was their starter last year, and he wasn't terrible. You know, like it's not like he is a freshman who doesn't know what he's doing. I can't believe Texas is favored.
But yeah, so
Wow,
I think
that's crazy to me.
Watching this Oklahoma team and like how they are performing, even without their at one point Heisman favorite quarterback, I think once they get him back, this will be a team that if they don't win the SEC, has a very good shot of the playoffs, and I think they do well for the playoffs.
Definitely.
Obviously, they have to keep especially if they beat Texas without Mateer. I think that's a very good indicator of what this team can do.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because then within the next couple of weeks, you have Mateer back in the starting lineup. Oh, I think
Yeah, they play Texas at South Carolina, and then they host Ole Miss at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri at home, LSU at home.
Yeah,
I mean, we were talking about this Oklahoma. I mean, the SEC is just a gauntlet.
Yeah,
and they have a rough stretch there near the end of the season.
Every SEC team does.
But I think with John Mateer, I think they're going to look very good rolling into the back half of that. And if they can, even if they head into that undefeated, they really need to pull out 2 wins.
Yeah.
To finish with, even if they only lose 2 of those last 4 rough games, that's a playoff championship.
You know what,
team
guys?
right
I
there.
do think this year, since there's so much parity in college football, it would not shock me if there's a couple 3-loss teams who make it this year.
I can
just because of I'm
especially
okay
with
like,
how good the SEC
like
is.
if Oklahoma loses by a field goal to like Bama, Missouri, Ole Miss, are we really going to try to keep them out of the playoff? Like, no, you honor that they played a tough schedule. Obviously, they need to win some of these tough games, but they would have a slew of ranked wins on their resume. And so I'm okay with some 3-loss teams from the SEC and maybe even the Big Ten getting in this year. But
And that's competitive. Keeps it
And
competitive.
kind of pivoting here, I also wrote down a couple of notes of games I'm looking forward to coming up.
there's a couple really good games.
We got
on
Bama,
Saturday.
Missouri, in Columbia.
Love
That'd
that.
be good.
Ohio
Big
State,
game for Andy
Illinois.
Kravitz.
Yeah, big game for the Andrew Kravitz.
Big game for the Crab.
Obviously, we talked about it. Ohio State, Illinois, Indiana, Oregon. I'm really excited for that.
Can't
one.
wait to
That'll
see
be an
that one.
incredible
That's
game.
going to be a
Might be game of the
fantastic
week.
game, and I think this is where we see what Indiana can actually do. If they pull off a win against Oregon, I'm completely on the hype train. And then another one we also talked about that kind of has a lot of implications is OU Texas with Oklahoma needing a big win.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So,
I'm taking, in those games really quickly, I'm taking Bama. Normally, I would take the home favorite in Missouri, and I like this Missouri team, but I just really like how Alabama's playing right now.
Yeah.
I feel like they are fully connected. I know that they had that really embarrassing loss to Florida State at the beginning of the year, but I really like how Alabama and Ty Simpson are playing right now. They've got the quarterback edge. I know that they're playing on the road. I like Alabama. I'm taking Oklahoma. Their defense is too good. Texas is really in some trouble. Arch Manning doesn't look confident at all. I'm completely out on Texas.
Yeah, it's
I
not
love
even
Oregon.
just trouble. They're cooked.
Oh, they're cooked. Yeah, I mean that's me being nice.
and
And then I'm taking Oregon at home against Indiana. I love Indiana. I think they're a good team, but I'm not taking a team against Dan Lanning
It'll be close.
on the road.
As a Kansas
I like Oregon.
as a Kansas kid, my ego will not let me take Missouri, so I got to go Bama there. I'm going Ohio State. I really want to take Indiana, but like the logistical side of me is saying Oregon that one, and OU. So
I would say Missouri. I'm going to go with the home team. Just in that, I think it's going to be close. I think Missouri's really going to pull out late there in that game. I'm going to go with, I think, Bama? And then
Bama's playing Missouri.
Bama's Missouri.
Bama,
sorry.
Missouri,
So then you
Ohio
got OU,
State,
Texas.
Illinois,
Oh,
Ohio State.
I'm going to go with OU, and then I'm going to go with
Oregon or
Ohio
Indiana.
State.
Yeah,
Ohio State.
we're all on Ohio State. Everyone's
Oregon.
on Ohio State.
Give me Oregon.
Okay. Well,
Dante Moore.
We're
Love
gonna
it.
we're gonna take a real short break here. We will be back with some NFL and some fantasy talk. So stick around. Hello and welcome back to the CI Sports Zone. I am the co-host Christopher Huslig. Joining with me, the two WMBD sports chatters. I'm just kidding.
Two of them.
Two of them, yes. And great weekend of some NFL football.
Yes.
Starting on Thursday, we had the 49ers and the Rams.
Great game.
Great game. It was fun to
Great
watch.
game. Yeah.
Just, you know,
Mac Jones,
Mac Jones.
Kyle Shanahan. Working
Let's,
magic.
The people
Let's
have
pull up that
spoken.
poll.
Mac Jones is better than Brock Purdy.
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
subjective.
saying this
It
with
really is.
all kindness. The fact that 70% of people who voted in that poll actually think that Mac Jones
Thank you,
is better
viewers.
than Brock Purdy, I'm sorry. But I
is
think
subjective.
Mac Jones, the revival could happen. I think he is in his best situation, right? Because in New England, it wasn't a good fit.
Right.
Good for Mac Jones, but come on, people. Brock Purdy, and again, we can make the argument like Kyle Shanahan has really molded both of these guys into these opportunities, right? Like Brock Purdy probably is not as good as if he goes anywhere else, but for people to go off of one game and say, oh, he's better than Brock Purdy, people are saying, oh, I think Mac Jones should be the starter. Okay, people, hold on. Let's not get too crazy. Brock Purdy has led this team to the Super Bowl, the NFC Championship game.
Absolutely, he has.
Yeah.
But
And
I think
I-
Mac Jones, if given the opportunity with the Niners, I think he could also do well.
I
So,
think, yeah, and my reasoning for putting that out into the universe, saying that Mac Jones is better than Brock Purdy, has Brock Purdy proven significantly more than Mac Jones in his career? Absolutely, by far. I mean, Mac Jones had Bill Belichick. He had Bill Belichick, and I mean, while Kyle Shanahan is a great coach, historically he's not Belichick. So Brock Purdy has been able to do a lot. It is a fantastic system, though. What Mac Jones had to work with is not what Brock Purdy has to work with, but given the opportunity Brock Purdy has delivered, and I think I base it a lot on potential. I think Mac Jones has a lot more potential because of his height, because of his build, because of his ability. I think he gets the ball off quicker, and I just really like it. So, it could go either way. Who knows?
we'll see. I think obviously the Niners are feeling good that they have a very good backup quarterback at the very least. And, Mac Jones was a first-round pick, rightfully so.
Yeah.
So
And he stayed humble at the podium. He said
He did.
He's like
People
they
asked
brought
him,
me in to
"Who's
be
the
a
quarterback?"
backup, and that's what I'm here to do is to be a backup. So I got the win for Brock. And I
Right,
thought that was
especially when
cool.
they paid Brock Purdy all that money.
Yeah.
You're kind of married to the guy when you do that.
I did forget about that contract. Ooh. But it's not like a crazy quarterback or crazy contract. That's our quarterback.
Right. Interesting week of NFL football. The early slate was kind of interesting, weird, just some funky matchups. But you know what, guys? I know that we, talk a lot about like who's the MVP, and obviously preseason, of course, your top four favorites are going to be Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, right?
Yeah, that's the
and
four.
at this point right now, that is not the case, right? You've got, we can make the argument for Dak Prescott and how much
Yeah.
he means to the Dallas Cowboys. He's been unbelievable the last 2 weeks. 7 touchdowns. They beat the Jets on Sunday. And then obviously on Sunday Night Football, that game ended in a tie. But
Right.
Patrick made a great point in our group chat. Without Dak Prescott, we can make the argument that the Dallas Cowboys are probably winless.
Yeah.
Probably winless. So I definitely think if the Cowboys can make a run, maybe make the playoffs. The NFC is really tough, but I would argue that Dak is in the mix there. And then I've just been really impressed with, honestly, Baker Mayfield. And then not enough people are talking about what Sam Darnold is doing in
Yeah,
Seattle.
truthfully.
I know they lost yesterday. He had a very costly interception late in that game that ultimately cost them the game. But Darnold and Baker, two former Carolina Panther quarterbacks, Alex,
Don't remind me, man.
they were both sensational on Sunday.
We had Baker Mayfield running as a scout team defensive end when he was on our team. That's not even a joke.
But
that
think
happened.
about that. That's the beauty of the NFL. Like, as a Browns fan, I'm happy that Baker's doing well. It absolutely breaks my heart. And I'm calling out the Browns fans who literally ran this man out of town. He played his final season in Cleveland with a bad shoulder. And he didn't play well, but because he was playing with a shoulder injury to his throwing arm. Of course you're not going to play well.
No.
I was very disappointed when they moved on from Baker. And I'm very happy that Baker is doing really well in Tampa.
Yeah.
And guess who also is doing well in Tampa?
Mika
If you say
Ibuka,
Mika Egbuka.
I would like to say one
Rookie of the Year
stud.
candidate.
Number 3 fantasy football receiver overall. Star. Superstar.
I do-
Saved my fantasy season. I beat Kurt Pegler, only undefeated team left in the WNBD league.
I do want to add back to the Dak Prescott thing a little bit. I do want to shed the light what Patrick shared with us. Obviously, he couldn't make it in here. He's a busy guy. But he brought forth an argument in our chat about Dak Prescott. So I'm gonna read what he said really quickly.
Yep.
Only quarterback in the NFL that's top 3 in yards, touchdowns, and QBR.
Yep.
And easily 1-4 or even 0-5 without him. The Cowboys aren't.
And if you look
And
at
he
go
has
ahead, sorry.
he has a solid argument. Like I said, he couldn't be here today, so I didn't want his opinion on his Dallas Cowboys not to be heard.
Yeah.
But I think he has valid arguments with both of those, I mean, whether the Cowboys are having a great season or not, is the MVP on the best team? No, that's not how this works. Now, granted, is the MVP generally on a really good team? Yeah, but
Correct, or else Joe Burrow probably wins it if the Bengals were even in the playoffs. I mean, Joe Burrow's numbers were unreal, but because the Bengals were just so terrible defensively,
He's in the running.
He was on the cusp, but Lamar had a great season too. Obviously, not a bad pick.
So yeah, I just wanted to share
Josh Allen,
share what Patrick said, and I like I said, I agree with what he was saying. Like, Dak Prescott's having a fairly decent season, whether the Cowboys record shows it or not.
It's true, and the thing about it is, I think when we really look at it, by the end of the season, the three names I think we're going to be talking about for MVP on a realistic standard. I'm not going to say Daniel Jones like I have been saying, but possibly.
Danny Dimes will probably win Most Improved Player.
He will. The three names I think we're going to be talking about, obviously, I think we will be talking about Dak come the end of the season.
Sure.
I think we're going to be talking about Jordan Love. I think we're going to be talking about Jordan Love by the end of the season. Not right now.
Interesting.
By the end of the season.
I've been wanting to do that all show.
Oh my gosh. How do I even keep talking? That was incredible.
Woo! Jordan Love.
Number 3.
I like Jordan Love, but I don't know if Jordan Love.
You know what?
Obviously not. In my opinion, he's not a top 10 quarterback yet, and I just don't think he's going to have the numbers.
Is this a year we don't see a quarterback at the MVP?
Well, we almost saw Saquon Barkley last year. It'll be a quarterback. We just don't have.
I mean, I guess you can make the argument. I think Puka. If Puka keeps doing what he's doing, you can make an argument for Puka.
But he's not the So the MVP award.
Puka's not what?
He is not the most valuable player on his team. It's Matthew Stafford, far and away. Matthew Stafford is one of the greatest quarterbacks that's ever touched a football. The thing is like
interesting.
The thing about the MVP award that I have heard people talk about is it is the most valuable player. That's not like best player in the league. It's most valuable player. Who is the most valuable player to their league? How many times do people actually
vote for that, and they just vote for the guy who had the best season?
Right, but the vote is supposed to be most valuable player to their team. That's why I think Dak Prescott is
I'm just
the
saying
front runner.
National voters hardly ever think that way.
It's not.
Right. But
between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, technically Lamar Jackson on paper had the better season.
He did.
Right?
He did. He did have a better season.
He did have a better season.
And I was campaigning for him for MVP. But you know what? I love Josh Allen. So I'm happy. I'm happy that it's kind of, to me, I always say every year, I kind of hope that AFC Championship every year is just Ravens-Bills because I just love both teams so much.
I'll
Ravens
tell you right
won't be in there.
You know what's crazy? I saw a tweet that the Ravens are still the favorites to win the AFC North.
That's because they have the most elusive quarterback that has ever played, and he's the highest.
He's injured.
No, he will only be injured for like another week or two. I'm saying.
But here's the thing: the Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-1
with Aaron Rodgers.
The Ravens are 1. It doesn't matter.
He's made of glass.
Doesn't matter.
Does Aaron Rodgers get
at this point? Here's what we know: the Steelers. Their offense looks way better than it was last year. Their defense has struggled early on, but their defense has gotten better.
Yeah.
The Ravens' defense is
atrocious. Yep.
Abysmal.
Pop Warner as former Ben Friesen.
I mean, and granted, they've had so many injuries, but that Ravens defense is bad.
And they have
the fact
Kyle
that
Hamilton,
they are still the favorites.
Yeah.
When they're playing the Rams this week and they're going to lose.
Yes, they
will. And then the
will.
Steelers play the Browns at home. They should be a win. So you're telling me after next week, the Ravens could be 1-5. The Steelers are 4-1, and we're still saying that the Ravens could win the division. I understand that the Steelers are going to lose some games.
Yeah.
But I think Aaron Rodgers looks good. DK Metcalf looks good. Their running game has looked good. Their defense is still solid.
Yeah, but I think,
and that pains me to say because I'm a Browns fan.
Yeah, I think here's what has to happen. I went on my John Harbaugh tirade last week. What I think has to happen for the Ravens to prove themselves. 2 words: trade deadline. I think that the Ravens, they need to get something on their defense. They need to trade for somebody. They need an impact player like a Micah Parsons. They're not going to get Micah Parsons. He's on the Packers. I'm saying
the thing about the NFL, though, is there's not a lot of players like Micah Parsons who ever become available via trade in the NFL, right?
Someone that
most of the time, you are developing your draft picks. You're developing through free agency. So I think it's a great idea, Alex, but I don't think there's going to be, the only guy who might be available is Trey Hendrickson for the Bengals, and there is no shot the Bengals trade Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens. This is not going to happen.
Here's what I think the Ravens should go for. There's a certain guy that used to play in Carolina by the name of Brian Burns, impact linebacker. In the right system, he makes a big impact. He is right now on the New York Giants. The New York Giants, they don't know what they are. They are so confused. They think they're good. They think they're bad. What are they doing? They have Abdul Carter. He's an edge, I know. But as a linebacker, Brian Burns made an impact on a not good Panthers roster. Imagine what he can do on a Ravens roster to be that leader, to be somebody who can fly off the edge and get the quarterback, do a Spider-Man silly. That's what they need. They need to also look at an improvement at the corner position. The thing that a lot of teams are doing is they're going young. They're going as young as they can, either by draft, which I know isn't something they can do mid-season unless...
You're like putting Christopher to sleep right now. It's hilarious. He's just like...
He hates the Ravens.
The Ravens
doesn't want to hear it.
Good.
They're not good.
Just like, listen, I think the Buffalo Bills are obviously one of the favorites in the AFC, but the Buffalo Bills haven't beat anybody. The Kansas City Chiefs, all of a sudden, we were like, after 2 weeks, the Kansas City Chiefs are in trouble.
I was trying to tell you guys.
Okay, but you're a Chiefs fan. Of course you're going to say they're fine.
No,
I said the Chiefs are going to weather the storm. They're going to be fine. Like, of course, Christopher, your loyalty is never going to waver. But biggest thing I want to say, Drake May is that guy.
Absolutely.
And I think New England is going to give Buffalo a run for their money in that division. Not in a few years, right now, this year.
That's what they were. They knew when they got Mike Vrabel that this was their time. They have the quarterback that they got last year, and they knew that this was their time. They have Stephon Diggs. They have people like Christian Gonzalez on the other side. This is the time that they want to go.
New England
for
will, at minimum, be a wild card team this year.
Oh, easily.
Really good. Drake May was incredibly impressive. I was really discouraged by the Chargers. They went up 10-0 early in that game, and then Washington just took care of business. So the Chargers are now 3-2. The Broncos somehow.
I was going to say, can we talk about no more undefeated teams in the NFL?
No more undefeated teams. You've got the Eagles blowing it. You've got the Bills losing. But that's the parity in the NFL right now, right? Is that there's not that team that you go, yeah, they're super unbeatable. The Lions have bounced back nicely after losing their first game. They've won 4 in a row. The Bucks come from behind. They led early against Seattle, and then they took the lead. Oh, that was by far best game of the week.
Oh my gosh,
Seattle-Tampa Bay game.
But
the Buccaneers look good. Even though the Rams had that head-scratching loss on Thursday Night Football, they're still really good.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think it's very clear the NFC is a lot stronger than the AFC right now. Mm-hmm. And if I'm a Bills fan, it's Super Bowl or bust again.
It is.
We have to beat Kansas City, and that team is just not there yet, right?
Yeah. This is
sloppy on offense
for a while
on Sunday Night Football. The defense still is not where it needs to be. Buffalo's good. I know I've joked around and said I've called them frauds, but Buffalo has not beaten a legit football team this year.
They're cursed, man. I mean, you look at that early 90s team and you look at now, I mean, they got to win something. How much time we got for Pick'em? Do we have Pick'em time?
I was literally just about to step in.
We got 2 minutes.
We got about a minute and a half.
We got to say goodbye soon, sadly.
And so I always, we haven't had a whole lot of time to do picks. We now have a minute and a half to pick.
Keep that up
2 wins for me. That's horrible.
6, 4-2. I am on a roll.
That's impressive.
I wish I could get this lucky all the time.
You're undefeated.
I am. I have not picked a wrong game, and it's not going to end today. Chiefs, Jags, Thomas.
The spread feels funky. It's a 3.5 point spread favorite for the Chiefs. As much as I want to take the Jags, I don't trust Trevor Lawrence in a primetime game. Yeah. Like, I think the Jags are obviously better. They're 3-1, but give me Mahomes and the Chiefs. On Monday Night Football, they've been there.
Yep.
The spotlight's going to be too bright for Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville.
Okay.
Chiefs.
In that case...
I need a dub.
In that case, I was going to go with the safety valve of the Chiefs. Give me the Jags. You know what? Because he's not going to... Well, Christopher's not going to pick the Jags, so I'm going to say Jags.
Hey,
I think it's going to be interesting.
Don't assume who I'm going to pick, okay?
All right, Christopher, who are you going to pick?
Jags coming into this are...
Oh. I thought we were
3-1. But I have it written down here on my fancy little notepad.
Oh, look at that.
Of course, we're going to the Chiefs, fellas. Come on, like the fact that you would even
Scared
remotely
Thomas.
believe that.
Legit thought.
we have to get out of here. So
Wow.
thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Go
See you
Jags.
next week.